how you feel about some of the LGBTQ issues. There's something here called Project 2025 that really does not shine a great light. And how do you feel about it? And how do you feel the other side is talking about it?
Yeah, that seems to be what most Democrats are saying we should watch out for, that all citizens should watch out for, that they should vote Democrat and they should not vote for Trump, using it kind of as a scare tactic. I do believe that that Project 2025 is not a part of Trump's agenda. I'm pretty positive he said that he does not know who created 2025.
Well, what he did say was that that's not part of the platform. But he knows them because a lot of them worked in his administration, and presumably some will. The Heritage Foundation is a pretty big conservative think tank.
Yeah, but it's not Trump's main campaign.
Correct.
And I think the misconception is a lot of Democrats believe it is. And I read through some of 2025, not all of it. Some of the policies I thought were okay, taking some funds away from education, because right now our education system isn't that good anyways.
Would you agree with, it says let's get rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's, I think there's room for change. Our country hasn't changed in so many years. We've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's time to mix things up because nothing has been significantly better in quite some time.
You'd mentioned education. One of the Project 2025 proposals is to abolish the Department of Education. Where would you stand on that?
Yes, because I think it should go back to the states to make a lot of those decisions. I guess there needs to be maybe someone still in charge, but not making the decisions for all the states. States' rights. And that's the way I feel about it. I was PTA president about 6 years.
One of the other parts of Project 2025 is to abolish the Department of Education. Would you be in support of that?
Abolish the department. Yes, I think that was a good idea. I didn't really know much of it, but I heard now they were talking about it at the convention. And if it's something Trump is suggesting that needs to be done, then I see what's happening in our school system. It's a huge problem. You're indoctrinating our children, and while the Democrats are talking about the Republicans want to control our bodies. Let me ask you something. What did they do to us with the vaccine? You controlled our bodies by ordering us to take a vaccine.
Well, that was President Trump.
Well, no, not the way I see it. Not that way. No.
Well, I think
he wasn't going to order people to take that vaccine. That went into Biden. And I'll tell you something else. You fire New York City firefighters, police officers, all city workers because they didn't take a vaccine. That's just wrong. You can't just start firing people that were the ones who were helping.
I beg to differ on what you just said, but it was President Trump who put all that effort and energy and into getting a vaccine and did it in very, very little time.
Yes, he did get it started, but he wasn't ordering everyone being forced to take the vaccine.
He was taking it, and he was saying that vaccine mandates at that time were acceptable and prudent.
Acceptable and prudent, though. There you go. Acceptable and prudent.
And no one was forcing people to take vaccines, but there were consequences to not get the vaccine. What do you think of Project 2025?
I don't understand what the concern is. Project 25 is a Heritage Foundation. Heritage Foundation is a conservative think tank. What they're trying to do is they're trying to find people who could be slotted into the administration as soon as possible. I don't understand why there's a problem there.
Well, it seems to want to take the Justice Department and put it under executive control entirely. It seems to want to really make it more difficult for minorities, particularly sexual minorities in this country, to get their voices heard and their issues.
I don't see. Look, I haven't read the whole thing. I just kind of, briefly know about it. I haven't seen any example where they're trying to do that.
Have you paid attention to Project 2025 at all?
I have heard a little bit about it, but President Trump has denied any connection with it. So I believe it's being forced on him as like a black mark. They're trying to create a situation where they're associating that project, whatever it is, with Donald Trump.
And what about this Project 2025, giving control, which is written up by former Trump administration officials at the Heritage Foundation? One of the things in it is that it would give control over the Justice Department and criminal law enforcement to the president directly rather than departmentally. Does that sit well with you?
You know, I haven't read it. I've heard a lot about it, and it's the Heritage Foundation. It's not our party platform. It's not Donald J. Trump. I don't think it's the majority of Republicans, but it sounds like it's a little on the stricter side.
I want to ask you a little bit about education. The Department of Education, in that document, Project 2025, they say they would get rid of the Department of Education. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm a former school board member, and so I'm a big proponent of public education. I think there's some issues. I think it could be fixed without eliminating it. There's some value to having a central location to spread funds out around the states and some goals. Is it too powerful right now? I think it is. And I'm a big believer in local control of schools. What's best for Alexander City, Alabama is not necessarily what's best for Los Angeles, California. And we need that flexibility to be able to make those decisions for what's best for our community.